Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Rockstarflipper YouTube channel. How's everybody doing? Glad to have everyone here on a Thursday. No sourcing today, so no haul. I've been working on listing all of the jerseys and the basketball gear that I got yesterday. So I can't really update what's sold on that stuff yet because I literally just in the last hour or two got some of it up. I'm going to be working on it the rest of the night. So we'll do an update on what's sold probably after the weekend around Monday or Tuesday when Kate gets back. But in the meantime, I want to do today's video on a topic that I probably get asked once or twice a day. I get a lot of messages. I get direct messages here on YouTube and comments, of course, that you guys see. I get emails. I get Facebook and Instagram messages as well, all across social media. And that question is in reference to quitting a full-time job to become a reseller full-time. So we all know about how to figure out how much money you're making, based on your sales, based on fees and shipping and how much you need to make, all that. And that's one side of becoming a full-time reseller. Obviously, the amount of money that each person needs to make is different. One person may be able to live off of $3,000 or $4,000 a month. One person may need to live off of $6,000 or $7,000 a month. It just, really depends on your personal situation. But the question that I get about this, and when people send me this question or they start the email off, it's always two-sided. It's, when do I know to quit my full-time job to start reselling? And should I quit my full-time job? So basically should I do it and when should I do it? So my blanket answer to everyone that intends on sending me that email or that message or that question is you should not quit your full-time. Let me rephrase that. You should not get rid of a full-time income in order to attempt to be a full-time seller. And what do I mean by that? If you have a full-time job, let's say you make, I don't know, $700 a week, and you've had that job for, a year or two or 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is, that's almost, a guaranteed income for you. And nothing's guaranteed in this world. I mean, anyone can be fired or laid off or a job can close at any time. But for the sake of this argument, that's your guaranteed income. Every week you know that you're going to collect a check from your job and you're going to pay your bills with that. In the meantime, you go out on the weekends or the night times and you source some shirts and some stuff, and you've got your eBay up to making a few $100, or maybe you're making $1,000 or $2,000 a month, and you're starting to think, hey, maybe I can do this full time. And the problem is, if you quit your full-time job, you're now in a position where you have to instantly start replacing that income with reselling. And there's no guarantee that you're going to, start making double what you were making or triple what you're making. In theory, quitting your job allows you to have all day to source, all day to list, and all day to hopefully sell. But again, there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. You'd like to think on paper that with all this extra time when you're not working your job that you would be able to replace that income, but you can't rely on that. So what you need to do is continue to work that full-time job, and you're just going to have to suck it up and put the extra hours in, at night or on the weekends or whatever it takes to build the reselling or plumbing company or whatever business you want to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be reselling that you want to pursue. Maybe you want to open your own yoga studio, or, you want to be a plumber, or you want to be a reseller, or maybe you want to be a YouTuber, or whatever it is that you want to do. Put the time in. Essentially, I'm saying work 2 full-time jobs. Build the second item up, the business that you want to do for yourself. You got to build that up at or equal to or above your full-time job, because you can't get rid of this income on a hope that you're going to be able to raise this business up, because businesses go out of business every day. So you're going to quit this job and then start working on this full-time, and then what if that collapses? Now you've got nothing. So this has got to be able to equal, or in a perfect world, be better than this, because you've got to be able to accept, even when this gets good and gets above your full-time income and you quit, that there's going to be down weeks. So you got to keep that in mind. The other thing you have to keep in mind when you are considering transitioning from one line of work into another, whatever that business that you want to pursue is, whether it's, reselling or yoga or electrician or plumber or whatever it is, owning a business comes with a whole new set of expenses that you otherwise don't have when you work a 9-to-5 and you come home. Just off the top of my head, and this isn't every expense, but obviously this is some of the expenses you can look forward to. Let's say that you use $25 a week to get to your job, gas, to and from Monday through Friday. It costs you 25 bucks. Now you're a reseller. You're going to be driving around to thrift stores or Goodwills or Salvation Armies or yard sales. Let's say you spend $75 a week in gas now. You're spending a lot more. You're spending 3 times the gas money. Well, that's 50 bucks a week. That's $200 a month you're having to spend. That's an extra expense and overhead that you have to make. Let's say that your company offered you good medical insurance or cheap medical insurance or even free medical insurance in some cases. You now, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, have to get your own private insurance. That is just another expense. There's shipping materials, bubble wrap, there's supplies, there's printers, there's ink, there's all that stuff that's an overhead. And on top of all that and making enough money to be able to pay your bills, you have to make an additional amount of money to reinvest in the company. You got to have the money to be able to go out on any given day as a reseller and spend $100 or $200 on new inventory, or to go to yard sales and withdraw, $100 in cash and go spend 10 bucks at this one and 15 at this one. So you can't just make enough money as a business owner to pay your bills. You have to have additional money to put back into the company. So whatever your bills end up being, if say they're $4,000 a month, and that includes, your house payment, your car payment, all your bills, and the groceries, you can't just make $4,000 a month. You have to make, $5,000 or $6,000, whatever amount of money is required to re-up your inventory, or say to rebuy supplies. Let's say you're starting a yoga studio and you need to buy new workout equipment, or you're starting a gym, a boxing gym. You need to buy new boxing gloves or new bags, or, always be upgrading. So you have to make more money than what you need for your bills. So that's why in my business, I have my bills, I have, the house and all that stuff. But then on top of that, I have to have a couple $1,000s in this other account that I'm constantly cycling and using to re-up my inventory and rebuy. And I can never pull from that money to personally pay my own bills. If you are pulling from the company beyond what it's making to pay your own bills, eventually you're just going to drain the company down. You're not going to have any money left to reinvest. And then the company can't make money, and the sales are slowly going to drop until it gets to a level where you don't even have enough to pay your bills. So when the question comes to me, when do I know that I can quit my job to start reselling? For each person, the answer is different. The amount of money needed is different. But the blanket answer is when you make enough money at the other business to pay your bills, to pay the extra expenses, and to have money to reinvest into the company, and be above a level where even if sales and things are slow, that you can absorb the slow season. So basically your worst case weeks need to be enough. That way when you have good weeks, you're above and beyond it. So I would never advocate somebody just up and quitting their job. You've got a paycheck, you've got an income, use that money to start a business. And that way, if the business, for whatever reason, God forbid, it fails and you don't become a good reseller, or you never make more than, a few $100 or $1,000, or you open a workout studio and no one shows up, or you start an electrical company and no one hires you, you start a dog grooming business and you can't get any dogs to groom. When you fail, the only thing you've lost is the money that you invested into it. And you didn't lose everything. You still have a job that you can go back to, and you can make a paycheck and still pay your bills. So hopefully that helps answer a lot of those questions that I get. Starting in the future, when I make these videos, when people ask good questions like these and good topics of discussion, I'm going to take the tweets or the Instagram posts or comments or whatever it is. I'm going to screenshot them and I'm going to put them up here, and I'm going to shout you guys out for asking those questions, because I really appreciate the questions and the suggestions for videos. And I want to use you guys and shout you out for the video. So please leave your information, or if you're in an email or whatever it is, so I can do that. If you don't want yourself screenshotted or put in this video, just put a little note in the bottom and say, please don't use this on video. That's perfectly fine. I'll still use your comment or your quote. I'll just blur you out. Anyways, appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. Again, I'm going to do the what sold video. I'm going to give this stuff a day or two to start selling. It literally just went up. I have more to list now. So as soon as I get some sales on it, I'll do a what sold video for you guys, and make sure to stay tuned to check that out. Thanks everyone. Have a great Thursday.